Hello. Have you ever sat down into a car after it's been sitting in the heat all afternoon and it's so hot that it just like pulls the breath out of you? Well, let me introduce you to this Ford Fusion here, 2018 model. All the windows down here. The customer states that the check engine light's on. Let's see here. No? Okay. Let's see what the scan tool says. Alas, here we are in the shop. I will retrieve the scan tool device and attach it to this automobile and see what it tells us. Write down in the comments what you think the code's going to be, if there's a history code in here. I'm going to say P0420. That's my guess. But what do you think? Got 150,000. It's an 18 Fusion with a 2-liter. Spinning the wheel of check engine light. Fortune. Oops. Yeah, let's see what it tells us here. Papa 2066. P2066. What in the heck? Fuel level sensor B. Circuit range or performance. I'm a transmission tech. What is this? No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to pull up, check for TSBs, check for pinpoint tests, see what I can look at here. There's also a P code in the instrument cluster there for the fuel level sensor. So it's trying to tell us something, I think. What do you think? There are no TSBs. Well, the workshop manual says to go to the PCED for diagnosis, but the PCED doesn't have that code listed. Woohoo! I found it. It says to go to the instrumentation, message center, and warning chimes diagnosis. Woohoo! I found a pinpoint test. Okay, let me turn that air down so you can hear. Let's see. Do an instrument cluster self-test. Okay, easy enough. Okay, instrument cluster. Check. Turn the climate off. There we go. It's doing its testing and stuff. All that fancy things there. It's beeping at us. It's being a beeping idiot right now. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, P1346 is a memory code, and I believe that was the code that we saw before on the other menu. Yeah. Okay, it sends me to step 6. Next step is to disconnect the fuel pump, and is this that code there? So disconnect that connector at the fuel pump. Ignition on. For this code, check pin 1 on that connector to pin 2. And what we're doing is checking for a short of voltage. So since the next step is to remove the fuel tank and the customer's only approved an hour of diagnosis, let me run through this pinpoint test and see what else it could be and talk to the customer. Alright, so it's looking like it's either going to be a wiring problem or an issue with the fuel level sensor, which is the float on the pump. Since the next step is to pull the fuel tank out and inspect it, let me inspect the fuel tank for damage, see if it's been hit or anything, and if it hasn't, I will talk to a drivability tech and just get his or her advice on this, as to not charge the customer all this labor to diagnose something and end up needing something really expensive, and they're stuck with the repair bill of pulling the tank out to test it. You know, I just want to kind of get a general idea of what it usually is. I do transmissions, so alright. Because I mean, well, I ain't trying to start nothing here, but let's just say there might be some damage underneath. looking at the front of the car. Okay, long story short here, it was determined that the best course of action would be removing the tank, and actually that was the next step in a pinpoint test. But what I did here is, here's the connector for sensor B, which is what the code's for, and went ahead and put an ohm meter onto the measuring the resistance to the float B, which is once again the one setting the code. And if you see here, when I move the tank over, it goes open. It kind of fluctuates between some sort of kilo ohm. Well, either way, it's supposed to be like 10 to 100. And move the tank the other way here. There's obviously something wrong with the sensor here. So, and sensor B is serviced with the tank. It's made into the tank, unfortunately. So they will need a new tank to resolve this issue, but that's the issue without a doubt. And if you have that same code, this may be what your issue is too, but this will at least give you a head start or some idea of what to check. So hope this was helpful. You have a great day. Thank you for watching.